feature a briefing on Brunei Darussalam and an introduction to the UK trade mission to Brunei taking place late November. I'm Alan Lai, based in Brunei with the UKABC, and I have two things to note before we begin. Firstly, during the Q&A after the remarks and presentation, please do raise your virtual hand when you'd like to comment or pose a question, and please do introduce yourself as well. And secondly, this conversation is being recorded for those that are not able to make it today. I'll be your moderator and be able to bring you in when you have some questions. But in the meantime, it is now my pleasure to hand over to Ian Gibbons, the CEO of the UKABC, to say a few words of welcome. Ian, over to you in London.
Thank you very much, Alan. Her Excellency Alexandra McKenzie, British High Commission to Brunei Darussalam, Daniel Leong, CEO of the Brunei Economic Development Board, and Penji Ran Haji Ibrahim, apologies for any mispronunciation, which I'm sure I just did, CEO of Standard Chartered and Chair of the British Brunei Business Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and thank you for joining this UK-ASEAN Business Council webinar on Brunei Darussalam. The UKABC is an independent partner to the UK and ASEAN governments, linking the UK private sector, the UK government, and the public and private sectors of ASEAN to grow two-way trade and investment between both regions. We work regularly with the ASEAN member states, and we are absolutely delighted to be breaking new ground by organising this trade mission for the first time to Brunei. While the UKABC is headquartered in London, our presence in the region is based in Brunei, as Alan says, and we are constantly reminded, quite rightly, by our Bruneian colleague, Mr. Lai, of Brunei's opportunities when we discuss which markets might be of interest to our business partners. I want to thank Daniel Leong, the CEO of the Brunei Economic Development Board, and colleagues for joining us today and the presentation for which we will be hearing shortly. The trade mission that Alan mentioned is taking place between the 25th and the 27th of November, and this will be a unique opportunity to discover how your organisation can invest and do business with Brunei, and importantly, also meet all the key stakeholders through the various meetings and activities planned. I'd very much like to thank the Department of Business and Trade and the British High Commission in Brunei for their great collaboration for this mission. And on that note, it gives me great pleasure to invite a very old friend, but Her Excellency, Alexandra McKenzie, the British High Commissioner in Brunei Darussalam, to now say a few words. Alex, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Ian, and thank you not only for the lovely introduction, but also to you and your team for helping organise this webinar, which I think is a really exciting opportunity to open up information and a space for discussion with everybody. So I'd like to also thank Mr. Daniel Leong, CEO of the BEDB, for joining us today along with his team. I want to thank my team as well, Sabrina and Christina, for all the preparations for this. And I'd like to extend a really warm welcome to everyone from the UK and Brunei who's joining us today. As you may know, I'm quite new around here. I joined as High Commissioner in August, but what's become very clear to me over the first few weeks is not only the depth of the historical relationship and the great opportunities that brings because of understanding and respect that's long-standing, but also the immense opportunities there are to build on that and to look more substantially at what we can do in terms of bilateral trade and investment. You probably are aware that the UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy has put economic growth right at the heart of the FCDO's priorities, ensuring every head of mission makes UK growth and jobs central and improving the UK's relationships with the fastest growing markets of the future. So that means that I and my team are absolutely focused on helping you and others like you connect here, right in the heart of Southeast Asia, one of the world's fastest growing markets. If ASEAN were a single country, it would already be the 7th largest economy in the world, and it's due to rank as the 4th largest by 2050. So you're making a wise choice by investigating opportunities for your businesses right here. This is a really important year for the UK-Brunei bilateral relationship. We celebrate 40 years of diplomatic relations since Brunei's independence. But our history, as I said, goes so much further than that. And its legacy is evidenced in the fact that we have a shared common law system, a shared language, shared education. So many Bruneians study in the UK. We have very strong defence links between our royal families, and a profound understanding and respect. And this means that working together is easy. And I'm sure that those characteristics will also mark communications and collaboration between industry. On the trade front, the UK accession to the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, it still is just a joy to say, or the CPTPP, will enter into force on the 15th of December. Brunei has been a fantastic supporter of the UK's accession, as it was to the UK becoming a dialogue partner of ASEAN in 2021. We're very grateful for the excellent support and advice throughout. And with the UK joining CPTPP, the combined GDP of the members has increased from 9 billion to around 9 trillion, so I'm doing Austin Powers, 9 trillion to around 12 trillion pounds, or from around 12% to 15% of global GDP. And once Brunei ratifies UK accession, which we expect to be very soon, we can celebrate the CTPP as being the first free trade agreement between the UK and Brunei. Significantly removing barriers to trade investment between our two countries. Currently, the trade flows between us are made up of goods such as cars, industrial machinery, and electrical goods, among other things. But under the CPTPP, we look forward to offering new market opportunities, boosting supply chain resilience, and supporting Brunei's economic diversification ambitions. What this also means for you as UK companies is that you can have confidence in the rules and standards shared between yourselves and your target markets within the CPTPP family. So in preparation for this, we here in Brunei have been working with our colleagues with the UK's Department for Business and Trade in London and also here in the region to identify areas where we judge there are the best opportunities for UK-Brunei partnership. And as you'll have seen in the concept note circulated by the UK-ASEAN Business Council, we've identified 4 focus sectors. These are clean energy, maritime and logistics, digitalization, and education. In each of these sectors, the UK has existing presence and experience. So in the energy sector, of course, there's Shell, right? A long-standing and trusted company with over 90 years experience of operating here. We also have Wood, who have tremendous experience in the Brunei market. In maritime and logistics, we're excited that a British firm has been awarded the contract to build a decommissioning yard that looks set to service the whole region. And in education, the UK is rightly, in my view, perceived to uphold the gold standard, with many Bruneian students attending UK educational institutions. A great example of UK-Brunei partnership here is that of Laksamana College of Business, a partnership between Abdul Razak Holdings from Brunei and the UK's Kensington Business College. They have expanded their focus to draw in students from other countries in Asia, and I think this is a model with a lot of potential for others to draw on. And finally, the digital tech space continues to evolve and is fast moving here as everywhere else. Brunei has ambitious plans for digital transformation, and the UK is well placed to share its experience and expertise. So I look forward to welcoming many of you to Brunei in November. Whether you're in the 4 sectors I mentioned or outside of that, we are here to provide support and advice, answer any of your questions. We're absolutely here to help and service. So please do make the most of this webinar and any opportunities to follow up with me or my team, or indeed with UKABC. And thanks again to UKABC and colleagues from BEDB. I wish you all a very fruitful webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Alexandra McKenzie. And now we'd like to hand over to Daniel Leong, the CEO of the Brunei Economic Development Board, for his presentation to tell us more about Brunei Darussalam.
Thank you, Alan. So, Your Excellency, High Commissioner Alexandra McKenzie, Mr. Ian Gibbons, UKABC, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed representatives from the UKABC, and valued members of the UK business community. So good afternoon from Brunei Darussalam, and of course it's good morning to our guests joining us from the UK. On behalf of the Brunei Economic Development Board, BEDB, I would like to express my gratitude to UKABC for organizing this timely webinar. We'd also like to extend a special thanks to the Department of Business and Trade for supporting and facilitating the upcoming UK trade mission to Brunei Darussalam in November. So it's a privilege to welcome you to the webinar today, where we get to highlight the growing business and investment opportunities in Brunei Darussalam. So I'm excited to share how Brunei can serve as a strategic gateway for UK companies seeking to expand your footprint across Borneo, the Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East Asia Growth Area, BIM-Niaga sub-region, and the broader ASEAN market. As you're probably aware, Brunei is strategically positioned in the center of ASEAN, offering convenient access to the region. Key cities are just from a 1 to 3 hours flight away. As we work to develop Brunei into a hub across multiple sectors, we are committed to fostering a business-friendly environment that encourages innovation, competition, and sustainable growth. So this is supported by our nation's stable political climate and a robust regulatory framework to facilitate investment. So after decades of laying down these foundations and infrastructure for a sustainable and dynamic economy, we began to see positive progress over the last few years. One particular area that I like to highlight to you is that the non-oil and gas sector has experienced consistent growth and made notable contribution to our GDP. Referring to the Brunei Key Economic Development Report for Q1 of 2024, the Brunei economy grew by 6.8%, with notable improvements in sectors like the petrochemical, manufacturing, retail trade, and communications area. So notably also in the 2021 to 2022 financial year, for the first time, Brunei's contribution to GDP by the non-oil and gas sector exceeded that from oil and gas. And the government has continued its investment into education, human capital development throughout this period. So in recent years, we have also sharpened our focus on supporting the development or growth of micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs. We recognize their crucial role in driving economic diversification. So our efforts are now geared towards not only providing MSMEs with capacity building opportunities, but also linking them with regional value chains through FDIs coming into Brunei. So the approach enables our MSMEs to leverage the expertise, technology, and market access brought by foreign investors, enhancing their competitiveness both locally and within the broader ASEAN market. So by integrating MSMEs into these value chains, we aim to create more sustainable long-term growth opportunities for Brunei's business community. So going back to our economic diversification strategy, as outlined in the Brunei Darussalam Economic Blueprint, we focus on 5 priority sectors, namely food, downstream oil and gas, tourism, with the services and information and communication technology, ICT, functioning as enablers across industries. So these sectors offer a wealth of opportunities for UK companies, particularly those that are mid-sized enterprises looking to invest and capitalize on the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP, as mentioned, to which Brunei Darussalam is a signatory. So maybe allow me to go through a little bit about the highlighted sectors. So in the food sector, we see opportunities for collaboration in sustainable agricultural practices and food processing. By working together, we can not only improve on food security, but also adopt eco-friendly production methods that align with global sustainability goals. So these collaborations will enable us to foster innovation while contributing to the resilience of our food systems. For downstream oil and gas, we are positioning Brunei to become a regional hub for chemical production by harnessing existing feedstock from existing projects in Brunei. So as we pursue this transformation, we remain deeply committed though to our environmental sustainability. So you may refer to the recently released UK-Brunei Green Economy Report that underscores our focus on green initiatives, highlighting new opportunities for collaboration in sustainable energy solutions. So as we continue to advance our industrialization, we recognize the need to carefully plan for these increasing energy demands that come with this growth. So we are committed to ensuring that our energy strategy is aligned with the global energy transition, driving efficiency and embracing new technologies. So this approach will allow us to meet both economic and environmental goals, ensuring that industrial development proceeds in a sustainable manner. For Brunei tourism sector, we offer opportunities for foreign investors where we have a number of assets ready for development. Brunei's stunning natural landscapes and rich cultural heritage provide us with a solid foundation for diversifying the tourism offerings. So we invite UK companies to work with us in enhancing the tourism infrastructure, as well as in improving connectivity and elevating tourism-related services and marketing strategies to attract the target international visitors. In services, we are already witnessing several successful collaborations between the Brunei and the UK, as mentioned earlier by Her Excellency, in the maritime and logistics space, with the first marine maintenance and decommissioning yard that is set to be operational by 2025. So Brunei is well placed to capitalize on its strategic location and facilities to support services in decommissioning and circular economy initiatives. This unlocks opportunities as well in education and training to establish programs that are focused on the circular economy and sustainability. Our commitment to R&D in these areas can be strengthened through partnerships with UK institutions, creating a foundation for long-term growth and knowledge exchange. So together, we can develop training programs that equip our workforce with the skills necessary to thrive in a rapidly changing global economy. And last but not least, on the ICT sector is an area where UK companies can, we believe, make a substantial impact as well. We envision that Brunei being an ideal testbed for innovative IT solutions, whether it is in artificial intelligence or Internet of Things. There is continued investment into communications infrastructure in Brunei, where our submarine cables, broadband internet, and 5G cellular connectivity is one of the best in class. I invite UK companies to capitalize on this opportunity and tap into our pool of ICT talents. Your expertise and interest to expand in the ASEAN market can help us shape the digital landscape and drive innovation that benefits both our economies. Furthermore, I believe that Brunei and the UK can continue to strengthen our bilateral trading relationship by sharing knowledge, best practices, and expertise across the key sectors. In conclusion, Brunei's strategic location in ASEAN, combined with our political stability, positions us as an ideal gateway for UK companies seeking for global expansion. I warmly encourage UK businesses to explore the opportunities that Brunei offers. Together, I believe that we can uncover synergies and support sustainable growth and shared prosperity. So I thank you for your time and attention, and I look forward to engaging with you through this webinar as we open up for Q&A or discussion, and we work together to unlock the full potential and seize the opportunities that lie ahead. Thank you very much. So if possible, may we request to show, I think seeing is believing, we always say. So we'll show a video of Invest in Brunei before we start the discussion. Yeah. have the volume.
Darussalam is renowned for its clean and green environment and its excellent air quality. More than 2/3 of our land area is covered. At competitive rates. Brunei Darussalam is party to 9 trade agreements with 16 countries, reaching more than 3 billion people, and has a well-structured intellectual property regime to protect designs and trademarks. Reform continues to be undertaken to ensure that the local business environment continues to be open and conducive for companies to grow their businesses. We are connected to most major ASEAN cities in less than 3 hours by air. The modernization of the country's main deep water port in Muara has also brought about increased efficiency, with plans in place to develop it to a major transshipment hub in the Brunei region. Investors can own up to 100% of their businesses. At the same time, co-investment partnership is available with both government-linked and local private companies. In our continuous efforts to diversify the economy, which has traditionally relied on oil and gas, the government of Brunei Darussalam has developed an economic blueprint which acts as a guide for all stakeholders
You have
to
to
its fulfilling
move, on
Goal
your side
3
is muted.
of Maritime Brunei 2035. Make and sustainable economy.
Macam
Embedded
ada
within the economic blueprint,
ya,
5 priority sectors, namely downstream oil and gas, food, ICT, services.
Maybe City, we'll jump into the discussion or bring Aki in, and then we'll try and play the video again later.
sorry. So
Maybe we'll try and play the video a bit later, Daniel, and I'll bring in Aki for now, and then we can have a bit of a discussion. And on that note, if I can now invite the chair of the Brunei Business Forum and CEO of Standard Chartered Bank Brunei, Pengiran Aki Ismasufian bin Pengiran Haji Ibrahim, to say a few words. Thank you for joining us, Pengiran Aki.
Hello, hi. Thank you very much, Alan. I do hope everybody can hear me.
Yeah,
clearly?
loud and
Okay,
clear.
excellent,
Okay.
excellent. All right. Yeah, I see Excellency Alexandra, Ian Gibbons there as well, I can see, and as well as, of course, Daniel, who just presented. So thank you for having me here to join this quick webinar or forum together. Just a quick few words from me as putting on my hat as chair of the BBBF, the Britain Brunei Business Forum, and just to quickly introduce who we are as well here in Brunei. So we are the BBBF is similarly it's set up similarly how a business association is, so between the Britain and the Brunei business business people, and we have approximately about 40 individual members and close to 30 company corporate members as well. And what we do and the members varies from different sectors as well, from logistics to education, health and safety, banking, etc. Now, we are definitely delighted and looking forward to welcoming, the delegation to Brunei. And one of the, ideas is to, plan for a networking, business networking together, and like a business matchmaking as well, if at all possible, for the delegation when they are here. So the BBF it has been around for about 20 years now. We are now part and parcel of the ASEAN British Chambers as well, in as part of the network. So we do a lot of various discussion and forums together to boost, the businesses that the BBF comprise of. That's the BBF head. Where maybe I'll just talk a little bit of the banking, where I use my Standard Chartered hat as well. The only remaining British bank in Brunei, proudly. We've been here for over 66 years now, and proudly to say the longest bank in Brunei. But we do not only, we do have several banks in Brunei, and all the banks in Brunei here, specifically the local banks as well, offer a wide variety of products for businesses as well, for corporates, for companies, from all the general products and services that Brunei that banks has to offer as well. So echoing on what Daniel has said, we continue to support a lot of the interested FDIs that comes into Brunei. We support all the businesses from overseas. So we do bank UK companies as well, and we definitely have a lot of appetite to support new businesses, new factories, etc. that comes in Brunei. So generally, I think the banking industry flush of liquidity, hungry to support all the necessary related initiatives or projects that comes into Brunei. And we work closely with the BDD together, and we work closely with a lot of government stakeholders as well. So generally, Alan, that's what I just wanted to say in the few minutes that I have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Aki. And now I'd like to invite our guests to ask any questions or queries they might have, to use this opportunity to have a chat with Daniel and the colleagues at the Brunei Economic Development Board. We can, please do turn on your video, raise your hand, and we'll invite you to ask your questions or share your comments. We've got an interesting mix of people. I've seen James Kenny from Arab here. I think got some guests from the different banks in the region as well. And I've seen BDO in the room as well. So please do ask your questions. If not, I will happily put Daniel to task. James, that was a well-read cue there, James. James Kenny from Arab. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much, Alan. Hopefully you can hear me okay. We've had some technical troubles this end earlier on. But basically, I was just going to ask about the expansion on the energy side, and especially the impact of green energy and renewables in the area. I know that oil and gas has dominated for a long time. Are there plans for to build on the resilience piece that's very prevalent across the sector in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, hi, James. Thank you for that question. Yeah, actually, there has been a number of studies that's been conducted. So I think if interested, we can share with you as well to give a bit more of the data. But in general, solar is something that Brunei is looking into and have been implementing, whether from the government side in terms of some EOIs and RFPs on building sort of medium scale solar farms with or without battery storage, and For us, within the BDB, we actually also manage the whole of the industrial parks in Brunei. So we are working with a number of our larger tenants as well to help them implement their sort of own decarbonization or energy transition initiatives. So primarily solar. Wind is a little bit on the low side, around 3 meters per second wind. So probably as the technology gets a little bit more clearer on the low speed type of wind turbines, we'll probably see more in that, but primarily solar as of now. Thank you.
Got Richard Watts. Over to you, Richard.
Yes, thank you very much. I had the great pleasure at the end of 2022 to be on the UK trade mission to Vietnam. It was the first ever smart city trade mission, and it was dedicated to smart city technology, telecommunications, and so on. That was 10 days in Vietnam, which was a very busy schedule. Here we have 4 subjects, quite an extensive range of from obviously energy, maritime through to digital tech, but only 2 days. So clearly my interest is how much in terms of telecoms and communications and the ICT sector will we be covering you know, this sector, given you've got so much that you want to cover in such a short amount of time. Thank you.
So may I try to sort of give some context? I think that's the beauty of a small country like Brunei, is that everywhere is about 30 minutes away, and you get the chance to actually go to the actual places, or whether visiting existing projects or meeting stakeholders. So usually for investors, we think that 2 to 3 days is a good use of your time. But of course, I think we are more than happy to plan it out if there are specific interests. I think that's the purpose of this webinar, where we can get a better sense from participants or people who are considering what are the areas you want. And if there's enough interest, for example, to meet with our telco infrastructure provider, for example, then we could have a specific section on that, or to meet with the Ministry of Transport and Info Communication. You know, we could tailor design some of these itineraries for you. Yeah. So I think 2 days is good. Yeah. To get an overview, we probably plan it with half a day that can cover most of the general stuff, but we really want to make good use of your time when you're here. Yeah,
thank you very much for your response. That's really interesting. And one for perhaps later is a question generally in terms of the trade links with Indonesia. You mentioned the sort of the wider ASEAN area. In fact, I traveled to Jakarta later today, and I will be having the pleasure of visiting Nusantara. So I'll be on the same island, albeit a distant way. But I was interested to understand the trade links between Indonesia and Brunei Darussalam.
Oh yeah, obviously we are very close. We're part of the ASEAN family. I mean, the Indonesian language and the Bahasa Brunei or Malay language is, would say, primarily you can understand each other. I don't know whether it's a appropriate comparison to a Scot and a Brit, but you can understand each other. So that brings a lot of the things closer together. But I think exactly this is the point where when you come to Brunei, where there is the common law, legal framework, generally bilingual capability, and many of us being British educated, we hopefully that would ease the sort of communication and working together. So with whatever we set up here, we would be able to be that sort of test bed or launch pad for eventually into a much larger market like Indonesia. Because, you know, when we talk to investors, we never tell them just to work on the Brunei market. For 450,000, that's just not going to be a long-term sustainable play. But because of the accessibility that you have to the other markets from Brunei, all the geographical proximity and all the rest of it, the cultural sort of alignment. So hopefully something that is able to be tested from the Brunei can be something that we could scale up in much bigger markets like Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines, and the rest of ASEAN. Yeah. So yeah, Nusantara is on the same island, but it currently is not as convenient as we would like to be able to get to Nusantara from Brunei. But there is a lot of interest on that, and there's a lot of new opportunities that we see both in the construction and development of the capital, but also more because you're having a blank piece of paper to start things. You could probably optimize whether it's energy solutions or especially smart city approaches to things. Yeah. So if you get the chance, I think, Richard, you can always pop over. It's you know, a couple hours away from you know, the major cities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Richard. Can I invite any further questions? And perhaps while waiting for people to gather their thoughts, Daniel, we spoke a little bit earlier about the smallness of Brunei and how that's a plus, and how we sort of all work together towards our national vision of Wawasan 2035. Perhaps you could share with us a little bit about how BDB works with the different ministries to help facilitate investments into Brunei, or to help UK businesses to invest in Brunei and to do more trade with Brunei.
Yes, thanks, Alan, for that opening. I think, yes, for the BDB, I mean, for those of you who are familiar with the investing overseas, I mean, there are many countries that use the EDB sort of approach to it. So we're primarily the focal agency that deals with inward investments. But the unique position that the Brunei EDB has is that we have primarily three key functions: the investment promotion and facilitation part of it. We also operate and maintain and manage industrial parks, as I mentioned just now, for all 26 industrial parks in Brunei. So you already have a you know, the infrastructure ready when you're starting to talk to us and engaging with us on your business. And the third area where I spend a little bit time talking about MSMEs in my speech earlier is that we also look after the enterprise development. So this is where we try to connect the local businesses, whether it's innovative startups through to smaller or medium businesses that could plug into the supply chain or plug you into the supply chain a lot easier, so that you get a one-stop service of being given the information and support you with your initial engagement and feasibility, right through to getting all the approvals and linking you up with local SMEs to provide the services, whether it's during your construction or during your operations phase, and then helping to see you through right through the end of it. And eventually also, I mean, just before this meeting, I've actually was meeting a Japanese FDI where we are helping them to reach out beyond Japan now that they're set up in Brunei. We're helping them to reach out to new markets where previously they may not have that accessibility. So this is how I think the uniqueness of the small kind of public service here, you could have a single point of contact where we would deal with the full suite of things that you need to deal with to set up in a foreign country. Yes, Alan, thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Jonathan Pierce from BGS.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, I'm Jonathan Pierce. I'm head of CO2 storage research here at the British Geological Survey. We're a public sector organisation, research organisation. We're the National Geological Survey of the United Kingdom. Thank you very much for the webinar this morning. It's very interesting. And I just, while you were talking, I was quickly skimming through the Brunei UK Green Economy report, and I noticed that in that report they have identified opportunities for carbon capture and storage technologies as a way of decarbonising those hard to abate sectors in Brunei. I wonder if it's possible to just say a few words around where you see those opportunities and where you see Brunei sort of the extent to which you might be prioritizing that in the future. It's a long-term opportunity, of course, but noting that some of your neighbours within the ASEAN area are also quite active in carbon capture and storage as a way of decarbonising those difficult sectors. Thank you.
Yes, good one, Jonathan. And this, nowadays in any forums or discussion, this will be the sort of topics that always come out. And actually, Brunei, again, is fairly unique, not just for the size of our sort of land area, but we have committed to maintain 70% of our primary forest, that we will never develop it, we'll never cut the trees down. Yeah, so that poses some challenges for me when you talk about economic development, because you need to have the physical land to sort of make the projects happen for the new economic activity. So actually carbon capture and storage brings us new opportunities. That's how we actually see it, because this is the reverse of what we've been doing for 90 years, trying to capture the carbon back from the existing processes and inject it back. So that we are obviously been engaging with the current operators, Shell and the likes, to see how we can support them with some of these studies. Singapore is very, very interested, and there are some work being done with the Singapore government. And as far as the private sector or certain key industrial companies are concerned, the Japanese are also very keen, because we have more than 50 years of relationship with the likes of Mitsubishi and other people like Itochu and all that, that's doing this sort of thing in Brunei in the oil and gas sector. So the way we see it is that the priority probably would be looking at how do we help existing processes transition, so meaning the capture part of it. So that how do we make the methanol that is being converted from natural gas less gray, so to say, make it a bit cleaner by capturing the carbon from there, and how do we make use of that carbon maybe as looking into plants and alternative proteins from those capture. So there is developments in this, but obviously a lot of these evolving technologies and policies need to be in place, both globally as well as within the country. So as far as the policy front is concerned, Brunei has stepped up to set up a center of policy research and implementation on the climate change side. So our colleagues in the climate change side of things, they are actively looking at taking a sort of more proactive role in developing some of these policies, because Brunei has a very neutral position within ASEAN and even to the UN and all these international multilateral platforms. Yeah, so we would foresee that we definitely would want to be pursuing more. So as you mentioned, being a public organization in the UK, I think there's a lot of potential for us to connect at least and share. I'm glad that you've been introduced to the report. That has been, I see Sabrina is very pleased with that. She's put in a lot of work to get that report happen earlier this year. So we look forward, if you could, you're interested, you're more than welcome to connect, and we can share more of those developments and how we can work together on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much,
and
Daniel.
Thank you. And Your Excellency, that was the standard cat coming into the camera there. Well done.
There's no toddlers though, unfortunately. Maybe another time.
We've got about just over 10 minutes left. I think we're going to pivot a little bit to education. I'd like to invite Brigadier Hisham to fire away your question, which I'm sure will be a very interesting one based around TVET. And then Daniel, if you could just reflect a little bit afterwards as well about how, or the role of education and how it can be aligned with our industrial direction, as it were. But Hisham, over to you.
Thanks, Alan. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Like Alan said, I'm into technical vocational, also into standard skills, as well as any consultancies which are actually going to be happening, because we're talking about solar, we're talking about other industries coming into Brunei. We got hydrogen plants actually being available now in one of our districts. The main issue, I guess, in terms of our side, from my point of view, is that you still need the foundational people to be there. So hence why skills and consultancy standards and whatnot is a major part of what I would like to see in this UK trade project coming into Brunei, because we are pretty much related to the UK in terms of our education. Can we do more, and how can DARE or BD or even the UK partners can actually help us move on into this? That's basically what I want to say, Alan.
Thanks, Hisham. Daniel, over to you, and if you could just reflect on the linking industry and education as well.
Yes, definitely, Alan. I think one of the key macroeconomic outcomes of the Brunei Economic Development Board definitely is on employment and ensuring that we create meaningful jobs through all the projects that we do. So one thing that is always on top of mind of investors is obviously that, I mean, will I be able to get the cost-effective manpower that can deliver or do the job that I need when I go into a new country, right? So really about that, we had some discussion earlier today on that. I see is all this industrial, technical, vocational is probably a key area. So I agree totally with Pingran Shamuddin's call for the UK side. If there are organizations that can offer or add value on that part, I'm sure definitely there will be a lot of opportunities in that in Brunei. Just a few examples is that one of the refinery and petrochemical plant that's started about 5 years ago in Brunei. They actually do basically they refine the whole gasoline in Brunei that we use now. Plus, they actually produce chemicals that are exported to a lot of countries now. But when they started off, there weren't any people because they were the first chemical plant in Brunei practically. So they had to start from scratch, but we allowed for them to bring in foreign workers from whichever country that offered that sort of talent. So we work with them, but over the years, they set up training programs with the local universities and universities in their home country. And then we do these exchange programs, which then place into industry before they get put into the plant to start the operation. So I think there are many innovative ways for us to do this, but we do realize that we need to take the actions now in order for the outcomes to happen in 3, 5, 8, 10 years time. So we're very keen to learn from the UK and exchange views on how we can come together for mutual benefit on this part. But just to end, I think the British system is something we grew up with. I mean, say most of us, we either went through the O-level, A-level, the sort of British degree or system. There's also the TVET where HND, ND, and all this is very, very familiar with us. So for educational institution to come in from the UK to Brunei, I don't think there will be much resistance. It's a matter of how do you fine-tune it to the current industry that we have in Brunei and our forecast of manpower requirements and skill needs. Yeah, I think I'll probably keep it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. We've had a little mini flood of comments in the chat. So thank you very much to Annabelle and Dennis as well, who are, I think, looking forward to coming to Brunei. Looking forward to working with you on that. We've also got a question from Zina from BDO. I'm just going to read out the question in the interest of time. But Zina, if you wanted to add anything, please do let me know. Zina from BDO UK, from the foreign investors' point of view, when they are faced with choices investing into the ASEAN region, are there any government initiations and incentives that make Brunei an attractive investment destination? So Daniel, I guess any incentives that Brunei government are offering for our potential investors?
Thank you. I think that's a very valid question from any potential investor. Yes, I think I wouldn't delve too much. I mean, in terms of the or what do you call it, the incentives, we have what is needed in terms of tax breaks. You know, one of the lowest tax rate already, but we offer tax breaks for various pioneer industries, or even moving towards R&D support, manpower grants and stuff like that. So we can talk about those details, and we're more than happy to share all the existing schemes that we have. But I do want to touch on one fairly unique point from Brunei, is that we have a strategic development capital fund under the Ministry of Finance and Economy. So with strategic projects coming into Brunei, the government would be open to taking up a equity share, minority most of the time, yeah. But you can have 100% foreign ownership as an investor. There's nothing stopping you from that. But for strategic projects, we may introduce you to the Strategic Development Capital Fund colleagues. And with that, what it means is that the government is showing its commitment by putting money into that business at a minority stakeholder, and be willing to work with you through the difficult times as well as the good times, hoping that eventually there will be positive returns back to the fiscal side of the government. But more is to show that commitment to people that you know, we're in it seriously, not just lip service, but we're putting money on the table to do it together with you. So for those interested in that part of it, we are more than happy to go through with you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I'm sure there may be some further questions, but we're starting to bump up against time. I'm just going to quickly share my screen and just to highlight the plan that we've got for the trade mission. So arrivals into Brunei on Monday the 25th. We'll have a briefing session and then dinner. Very much thanks to Her Excellency Alexandra McKenzie for offering her residence. It's got a wonderful view of the Brunei Bay. It'll be a great opportunity to meet everybody, and we'll just have a chat about the next couple of days ahead. In the morning, we'll have a sit down with Daniel and his team at the Brunei Economic Development Board. talking about Brunei. We'll take a deeper dive into the opportunities in the economy. We're looking at having a lunch with a speaker on decommissioning and restoration in the oil and gas industry in Brunei. Shozi, I know you're on the call. Looking forward to welcoming you here, hopefully. Then in the afternoon, we'll have meetings with the different ministries. We're looking at the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Transport and Info Communications, which covers maritime logistics and digitalization. Also the Department of Energy, which is looking at renewable energy. And if you've got a different ministry which you'd like, we're more than happy to see if we can accommodate your request. Brunei, as we said earlier, is quite small. We are quite able to try and create these opportunities for you without too much difficulty. Our thanks to Pingyonaki and the Bristol Brunei Business Forum. Will be hosting dinner that evening. And then the following morning, we've got visits to the business side of things. So to the different colleges here in Brunei for the education institutions that are interested, as well as the University of Brunei Darussalam. There's the University of Technology Brunei. We'll go and visit Muara Port and Anson International, which is a joint venture company with a Scottish investment looking at the marine maintenance yard and decommissioning yard. We'll also look at digital stakeholders such as United National Networks. And for those that are interested in the renewable energy sector, it'll probably take up the whole day. We'll go and visit the other end of the country where we've got a lot more industries to see. So we need you to plan for that and probably depart in the evening. But as we said earlier, please do let us know if there's anything in particular that you'd like to see or visit. We are more than happy to welcome you and accommodate any of your requests as much as possible. We had some problem playing the video a little bit earlier. Daniel, you have your hand up. You want to jump in and quickly say anything before I
need to do a little bit of a plug for the tourism side. So I do encourage that you do leave at least half a day to sort of kind of look around the water village, visit some of the sights and sounds of Brunei Darussalam. I think that will be worth it. And then if it helps, we can help you fit in one or two specific meetings if you give us a bit of a heads up on your interest areas. Yeah, so you can combine a bit of business and pleasure together as well.
And also, if you fancy hiking, the hiking is excellent. We've got a lot of really good trails through our deep jungles of Brunei. So bring your boots and get a little bit muddy. But on that note, I'm going to play the video. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. And we'll circle back. If anyone does have any questions, we're more than happy to stay on the call for a few minutes afterwards as well.
Yeah, he's playing it from his screen.
Thank you very much. Sorry, there was some sound challenges there, but I hope you got the gist of the wonderful video. It sounded great to me, but I appreciate everybody else being here. We'll try again. Perhaps in the future we'll send a link around. But on that note, thank you very much.
Sorry, Alan, but that's every reason why that people need to come here on their physically to hear it, you know. Yeah,
and feel it.
Yeah, just a teaser. This is just a teaser without the sound.
nothing like the real thing. On that note, thank you very much to you, Daniel, to you, Your Excellency, Alexandra McKenzie, Pingonaki, and to everyone else for joining us here this afternoon. Please do let us know if you have any questions specifically about the mission trip. We're looking forward to welcoming everybody to Brunei, 25th to the 27th of November. Please do come, and if you have any specific requests, please do let us know. As Daniel mentioned, we're more than happy to accommodate any special requests. On that note, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
See you, James.